Hi Rob, how are you?
Hello, Kelly. I'm very well, thank you.
It's really, really lovely to finally meet you in the flesh. We've been working together for what, 3 months now? Completely remotely, but can you tell me what brought you to us?
Well, I met Nick obviously through a networking organisation. What I really liked about Nick initially was that he was quite into his cybersecurity, and it was something I'd never really considered with our company. And then realising the amount of data of customers that we have and that we hold, I thought it's probably something that we should look into doing. And Nick would often mention about the smaller companies, and it's one of these things that you never think it'll happen to you until it maybe happens to you. So I engaged Nick on that front, and then whilst me and Nick were talking, there was an idea that I had a number of years ago, which was very similar to what maybe a lot of larger heating companies do, things like, without naming names, British Gas and HomeServe and things like that. What I wanted to do is I had an idea of offering this on a smaller scale, and to bring that in where it's a more local, you've got a local company who is supporting you rather than a large company who
Absolutely.
you may have different people coming to your house. So you know the people always coming, you know the people who are going to look after you, and you can rely on them.
So how did Little Big Tech support you in that journey then? Can you talk to us about that?
So after the initial conversation with Nick, we had the chat and we went through, and he said it's a great idea, and I always said, well, the thing was I can do the part of it that is, I can do the work, I've got the idea, I've got everything there, but the other side of it is it's very, very heavy IT based, and it was having someone who had that knowledge. And Nick said, look, we're going to organise a meeting, we'll have a chat, and that's obviously where you came in. You came
in.
So
Little Big Tech here have had kind of two strings attached to how things are working. So focusing around the cybersecurity thing, we've got the IT support, which is heavily technical based, making sure that you've got that on-hand IT support. How else have Little Big Tech helped you to bring that to life? I know I've worked quite closely with you on it. So.
Yeah, so it was bringing the idea to life, bringing the idea that we had, and being able to implement that and make it as simple as possible was my thing. Is I wanted to do as minimal behind the scenes work. I wanted everything in with a frame and a structure that we would then step in. Of course, you had this experience with it, and we had a number of phone calls, a number of conversations, and it was refreshing to be able to have the confidence to know that I can actually step back from this, which is very difficult for me to do, as you found out. That I'm very picky and very particular about certain things, and to be able to step back from that was a massive relief for me, and to be able to let you take over with it, because you knew what you were doing with it, and to make that happen was nothing short. There were so many different aspects of it and so many different parts of it, none of which I would have been able to do.
So how's it going to look moving forwards?
Moving forwards, it's going to totally change the dynamic of the way the business is. It's obviously early days with it. This is a long-term plan, and we're going to keep putting this out and keep putting this out. And it means that we can now grow the business in a much more natural way and retain customers and retain them through a plan which suits them and the different aspects that we obviously went through, and having those different selections. So we haven't just got one thing that they can select. We've got such a number of different packages, which was the backwards and forwards, and getting the views from someone else, which was yourself, made the whole system so much easier and made it come to life. And it was something that was an idea that was just on a piece of paper until you guys came along and actually made it into a real thing.
Well, the Little Big Tech team and I, we're really looking forward to kind of that ongoing basis, any support you need with that side of your business. Of course, we've got your IT support completely wrapped up as well,
absolutely.
On an ongoing basis.
Absolutely. I mean, whenever I need anything, it's an email away, it's text message away, and you always know you get a response, and you always get something in. And you know, like I say, I wouldn't have been able to do this without the team. It simply would have been an idea that would have stayed in my head, and probably 10 years down the line, I would have regretted having not done it earlier. So the fact that, and it's been easy as well. That's been the main part of it. That it scared me because the fear, but it's actually been easy, and that's mostly thanks to you, and thanks to John, and thanks to Nick, and thanks to all the other people who have been part of it.
Fabulous.